whatever you think. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Mark Schaaf is our speaker today. He has a storied past, typical for many geologists. Mark started supporting mineral exploration projects as a teenager in Northern Ontario, Canada. He went on to complete a geology degree at the University of Waterloo and a master's in mineral exploration at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. Mark holds dual citizenship and decided to head stateside post-education, starting his career in, oh, I should have read that, Winnemucca, Nevada, and then Chimney Creek Mine. After 3 years in Nevada, he headed overseas and continued supporting mineral exploration projects in South America and Africa. After 5 years of adventure overseas, Mark moved to Denver, Colorado. That was a good choice, Mark. You know, we love Denver. As the gold price faltered in the late 90s, Mark transitioned to environmental assessment and remediation. For over 20 years now, Mark has supported environmental cleanup projects, first in Colorado and now in the Mid-Atlantic region. Mark lives in Maryland with his wife and 3 kids. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Wendy. And thanks for everyone joining this AIPG Town Hall. Really look forward to sharing with you all about the somewhat new and improved AIPG mentoring program. There was a previous mentoring program, the history of which I'm not that familiar with, but what we were really trying to do with this new mentoring program that we launched last year is to try to give mentees better information to self-select their prospective mentors, know a little bit about them, have that information available online, and be able to connect directly with an interested mentor through an email address and sort of start that mentoring journey there. So that's sort of where we started relaunching this mentoring program last year. Mentoring is, you know, it's not hard at all to find the mentors out there. A lot of the older geologists, such as myself, people that have been in the sort of professional careers in their geology career paths, really look for opportunities to give back, look for opportunities to help students that we all remember back having the same challenges of graduating from school and finding work opportunities. I was really lucky, as Wendy had shared, that I got started early, and that was my father was in mining engineering, and so through the family there was connections and people that I could reach out to and find through my father's help employment opportunities, and that sort of helped. But for a lot of people, you know, that opportunity, that family connection, friends in the family, the whole thing sometimes isn't there. And even in the recent mentoring I've done, it can be a real challenge of not just finding an employment opportunity, but just selecting, you know, which path to take with all the different directions a geology degree can take you. Again, AIPG has a lot of very seasoned older folks that have gone down that path and are at a stage that, as I said, it wasn't hard to build up a list of 50 mentors within AIPG, people that are excited, awaiting an opportunity to help somebody, you know, along that same journey. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right out of the gate here and kind of show everybody where the mentoring program is. It's not hard to find, and I'm just going to go back a step here to the homepage. So this is the AIPG homepage, and it's right there on the second line. And so that's just, you know, from the homepage, one click and you're into the AIPG mentoring program. There's really 2 buttons here. You're either looking for a mentor, so you look at the list of active mentors, or becoming a mentor. We'll come back to those in a minute. First, I just want to share, you know, some of the sort of the background again as to why we're doing this within AIPG and some of the things that we feel that this mentoring program can help folks with. It doesn't have to be just, you know, we're not an employment agency, so it's not just about finding jobs. It could be a career change, moving, as I did, say, from mineral exploration to environmental, and you know, trying to find people you can reach out that can help you with that transition. It can be something along the lines of a higher degree. You want to do a master's degree or PhD. You have a lot of passion around a specific topic, but you want to talk to some people that are either in, maybe you want to know the lifestyle of pursuing a PhD and what might come after that and go on to teach. So you might want to reach out to professors. We have a couple that are listed as mentors, but you might want to just specifically find out more about a certain, again, career path. You might be offered an opportunity to work overseas and you're a little bit hesitant. So you can reach out to people that have done that, and not just for a couple of weeks, but moved overseas to work in places like South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, et cetera, et cetera. So there can be a lot of different reasons to have a mentor. You might be in an employment opportunity and you're struggling to advance. Again, it's a great way to both talk to somebody about, who are the right people to talk to, the right questions to ask, how do I approach them, what are the things I should say, what are the things I shouldn't say. It can be simple things about maybe even just a pay increase. It could be about other companies doing the same thing you're doing, but you're kind of lost and you want to know more about some of the major companies that are out there, or maybe even some of the smaller players in a specific geography. Maybe your spouse or partner is moving to a new location and you're suddenly, having to find a new opportunity again in a new location. So there can be all kinds of different reasons. It doesn't have to be just coming out of your senior year with your geology degree and you're a little bit bewildered with all the decisions that need to be made and you're not sure what the outcomes are going to be. So you want to get a little bit of insight on that. So the write-up here really talks a lot about that and what AIPG is trying to do through the mentoring program. In terms of finding a mentor, it's just, again, the second click is just listing the list of active mentors. And then this database comes up listed alphabetically. And you can just page down here and see we have a lot of mentors that have already been pre-screened that are listed here. For every name that you click on here, you're going to find an email address. Here's mine. And then you can get a hold of me right there through my work email address. And you have a little bit of background information about my areas of interest and or work experience, my education. Maybe you're looking at going to do a master's degree at a certain school and you're trying to find somebody that maybe went to that school. And this is a good way to maybe screen through the mentors to look for somebody that went to the same school that you're about to embark on for a degree. And then again, work experience and a little bit about the AIPG background activities. You'll see a lot of folks that are volunteering to be mentors have been pretty significantly involved with AIPG over the years. And that's probably one of the peripheral benefits of the AIPG mentoring program. You kind of dip your toe in the water, you get to know a mentor really well. They help you make a few key decisions. And that just kind of spurs you on down your career to both become an active member within AIPG as an opportunity to give back. And then obviously there might be interest down the road for that individual to become a mentor as well. Then there's a little bit of personal philosophy on mentoring, and everyone's kind of shared differently how they've kind of focused on their mentoring desire in terms of trying to help out other folks. And then there's also just a little blurb here for other relevant information. So that's mine, but again, if you're looking, say, for somebody that oceanography or marine geology, it doesn't take too long to click through and find somebody. William Boyd here, oceanography, coral reefs, hydrology, sediment geology, marine geology, for those kind of backgrounds. So again, it's pretty easy to scroll through and find people. Even in the homepage, it has affiliations of other organizations. At least, unless you're looking at Morocco, most people are in the United States. But when you get into their details, Bill Farabend here, I worked with him years ago in Winnemucca, Nevada. Saw Bill at an AIPG conference in Sacramento the year before, I guess last year. And Bill's been all over the place, 13 countries, various commodities. He's written a lot of technical reports and things like that. So here's a guy that's been a lot of different places. I'm pretty sure he's been in South America Not sure if he's been over in Africa, but I know Bill pretty well. It was great to reunite with him in Sacramento. So again, there's a lot of different people that you can click through here and find out about them. And most importantly, how to get a hold of it. We're looking for that first point of contact to be by email. So it's pretty easy. You say, hey, Bill, this is so-and-so from, whatever town you're from, and just express to him that you're looking at get some questions answered. And if you be able to set some time aside to meet with the mentee and talk about whatever it is that the mentee is looking for some input on. And then also the mentoring program in terms of going back here, becoming a mentor. There's a short form. That's where we got all that information. It's just filled out online here. Fill out all those boxes I was showing you, and you hit submit. So again, the thing that we were trying to do with this new mentoring program is trying to make that connection a lot easier. There's some other things that we're looking at least talking about right now for new student members of AIPG. And we might either send an email out asking student members. Sometimes folks need to be encouraged a little bit to take that leap and ask them if they want to be connected to a mentor, if they're interested and want to hear more about the mentoring program. I know from my own personal experience, and I can share a couple of stories, that it can be a huge benefit. And it's not me doing everything by any means. In one situation, it was a pretty quick, through my networking within AIPG and my comfort level of reaching out to just about anyone in AIPG, I can help the mentee connect with the right person if I'm not that right person, or even if I am, just to get another opinion from somebody else, maybe in a different geography, obviously a different history and experience in whatever area that mentee is looking to hear more about. So it's not a one and done. It's really just starting out with a mentor and then working the network. That can either be the mentoring program network, again, the list of active members here, or that person might know somebody professionally within AIPG that might not be a mentor, but works for a specific company, has experience in a certain area that can help that mentee get answers to and feedback on whatever they're looking for more information on. My first share is with a gentleman that was kind of battling through the COVID pandemic. He wrote a short article in AIPG just about the student challenges with the COVID pandemic going on, challenges with field camp and some of the things that are really critical to finishing that junior and senior year in most geology programs. And I really appreciated just thinking back to some of the challenges that he had during COVID, and it brought me back to my years at school and the challenges I had at that time. And just wrote him a note of thanks and said, hey, if you ever want to talk about, your next steps. And, right then and there that day, he emailed me back and said he'd love to chat. He appreciated my email of thanks. And that kind of got us started. And I introduced him to another person. I'm not involved in mineral exploration anymore, but I'm not that familiar with the schools in the U.S. As Nancy said, I went to school in Canada, so I quickly looked for somebody that was in the AIPG database that all AIPG members have access to, that was actively involved and had a graduate degree. And I thought that person might be able to help this mentee better than I could. And wouldn't it turn out that person I reached out to, I never even met this gentleman. He just had the credentials based on the information available in our AIPG database, being involved in mineral exploration, having a master's degree. And I said, well, he's been through this in the States. Maybe I should refer my mentee over to him. And that person ended up offering him a job and asked him to defer his pursuit of his graduate degree. And the next thing you know, he stopped collecting kind of an internship water samples from a water reservoir down in Georgia, and got on a plane flying first class again because of the pandemic up to Alaska, and started working on an exploration project there. And that developed into a new opportunity. He's starting next week in Nevada on another mineral exploration project. So it went so well for this gentleman. He referred a co-student to me. And again, I did the same thing. It wasn't so much what I knew, more about just making connections And I think that's one of the biggest roles for a mentor. It's not all about telling your story and reliving the past. It's really trying to help the person. And sometimes it's the biggest help we can do is get them in touch with somebody that has more experience, more connections to the topic that mentee is looking for. In this case, it was a GIS opportunity. And I worked through, again, the AIPG network, people I barely know a little bit, and people they know better than I do. And next thing you know, I was referring her to somebody in Denver, and she herself also got a job in Nevada, in Elko, Nevada, and it's doing really well from my last connections with her. So those are a couple of my examples. I also worked with a guy locally here in Columbia, Maryland, that's involved with a different kind of mentoring program, but he thought that the AIPG mentoring program might be able to help with some of the people that he was mentoring. And the same kind of thing happens, just making connections with other people in AIPG to have conversations with those folks in the areas that were outside of my wheelhouse. So it's really as simple as that. The other thing, as I said, we're thinking about two things for students. One is maybe an email that AIPG might send out in the coming weeks, just to encourage the AIPG student membership with a little bit of, trying to make it as easy as possible, and asking if they'd be interested in hearing more about the mentoring program or want to be connected, because we can make the connections given a little bit of detail just by looking down the list here and saying, well, maybe you want to do, environmental hydrogeology, maybe talk to Bill Barr and those kind of things, and talk to Bill and say, hey, so-and-so is going to contact you, and just help set it up. So sometimes people need a little encouragement that way. The other thing we're looking at talking about right now is at that student level AIPG membership application to have a couple of yes/no boxes if they want to be connected to an AIPG mentor, and or do they want to know more again about the AIPG mentoring program. So we'll be having those things come out shortly. And it's easy as that. I think that the hardest step for people, for all of us, is to ask for help. And I think you shouldn't be thinking about that you're feeling that you need help. It's more that you're building your network, because getting comfortable as geologists with an AIPG is just a no-brainer step in terms of just the network of people, of both young people and experienced professionals that are CPGs. And it can be help around, filling out your CPG application. And what do I do for this instead of that? Can I do this? And all of those kind of questions. So there's definitely our national office, but there's the people that have all been through that application process to become CPGs. Their names are sitting there on the screen in front of you. So it's another thing. Either all of these members are CPGs or professional members. We did discuss about having early career professionals as mentors, but we haven't taken that step yet. We want to rely more. There's no shortage of volunteers, more on the folks with 10 or 15 years minimum experience, that they've been through a couple cycles of the economy, different career paths potentially, and again, more experience to kind of bring to the table to the mentee. And obviously, with all those years of experience, probably a much broader network of geoscience-based professionals that they can contact themselves as mentors and ask for input, or make a connection between the mentee and another mentor within AIPG. We are really committed to keeping it within AIPG. We really want to be able to screen our mentors, so we're really kind of restricting the program to folks that are current active AIPG members. So that's another thing that we're somewhat limited to, but I don't think there's any shortage of, again, experience, relevance, and network ability within the AIPG membership for any kind of geoscience related mentoring. Well, I'll pause there. One thing I wanted to mention, I should have at the beginning, but we are limited to asking questions through the chat. So if you have any questions, please just write them down in the chat. You can definitely reach out to me through the mentoring program link if you have other questions about the mentoring program. I said to Nancy and Kathy at the beginning, I don't think that this town hall is going to go a full hour. It will depend on the questions, but I'll start looking at those now. So the first person is from Abdullah. Hani, who's in Egypt, and he's wondering if he can get a mentor from this list. So that's a great question. So the requirements to become a mentee within the AIPG mentoring program is that you need to be an active AIPG member. So if you become a student member, you'll have access to the mentoring list. If you're currently a professional, we have at least 3 tiers that I know of: early career professional, a professional member, and CPGs. So you need to be one of those, and then you would have access to the mentoring program. Similar question from the same person in terms of getting a mentor for a master's degree for other countries. Again, it's going to take a little work of looking through the list and seeing if there's anybody that did a graduate degree. I did mine in Canada, but I lived there at the time, so it wasn't like I went overseas. But I'm sure there's people in the list here that have gone to school overseas, and it's just a matter of working through the list and finding somebody that did a graduate degree in maybe the country that you're looking at pursuing a master's degree in. Yeah, we've talked, Anna was saying it would be nice to see a list of the associated schools in the active mentors table for quick reference. We've talked about updating this with a couple of addition columns of not just the person's country, but maybe their current state where they're living, and that will help somebody if they're looking for somebody in Maryland or California, Massachusetts, etc., Florida. They can see down here where people are currently living. And schools has been another column that we talked about, the schools that people attended, again, for quick reference. So we'll look for an update on that in the coming months. Those are things that we're talking about right now at AIPG. If you, Dave Adler was asking if you want to update, if you're a mentor and you want to update your information. This is a great question, and I'll go on the sidebar in a minute. You can just send an email to Nancy, to Wendy Davidson, and Wendy can either input the additional information, or she might ask you just to go back in and re-enter the become a mentor form and let her know that you're re-entering the information in there. I don't know, Wendy, what's easier there? Would it be easier for somebody to send an email saying, can you update my focus of areas of interest in or research, and they update their bio that way, box by box? What would be easier for you to update an individual mentor's information?
If you want to just send an email and just clarify what areas you're wanting to make changes to, it's simple enough for me to go in and change that. So you don't have to resubmit the form or anything. Just provide the edits or information that you want changed or added.
And I'm sorry, Winnie, I just called you out because you seem to be connected to just about everything within the AIPG. Are you the right person, or would you prefer to write a different email address in there for folks?
Nope, I'll put mine in there. I'm the one that'll take care of
Update the information. Okay.
Yeah, you bet. So there's my email.
Great. And then Kelly Weller was asking that, how can we continue to get the word out? And that's something that we're looking to do. We're trying to send emails just to student members and let them know this program's there, not too often, but often enough to continue to remind them. We'll probably do that again before the end of the year, and again in the spring before graduation. I definitely encourage all AIPG sections, if there's any section membership here, leadership membership here, to continue to let your section membership know about the mentoring program, and definitely not all at the national level. We'll take as much promotion and advertising encouragement as anyone can think of and provide. So Ken had indicated a suggestion of making the listings more contain inclusive info. What countries, plural, does the mentor have experience with, not just their current location? So we're a little bit limited in terms of the number of columns and the information we can put on the mentors page. So we'll have to take a look at that in terms of a column to list the different countries or schools that somebody had attended. But a lot of that information could and should be in here. Some of the people that filled out the information didn't provide all of that history, and we've recently, as I was going to say earlier, done a little bit of a survey to reach out to some of the folks that did not put in a lot of detail. You can see some boxes empty here to kind of go back and fill in those details, because I think that the more information you have in here as a mentor, the higher likelihood that somebody's going to say, aha, there it is. There's somebody that's done something on karst geology here. That's what I'm interested in and working on a project on. And so I'm going to reach out to this person. So the more information you put in here, again, I think it provides more detail. And maybe we can expand the state to the states of that individual's worked in, or this person could put in the different states they worked in, not just their current state of Missouri. Are there any other questions, suggestions? As I said, I thought this was going to be a little bit of a shorter town hall than our more recent ones that have used up pretty much the whole hour. Again, just trying to get the word out. So those that aren't looking for a mentor, if you're on the call as a mentor, or you're just on the call to hear more about what AIPG is offering, please do what you can to get the word out. So there's some more questions coming in. Would it be possible to list the mentor's current organization as well? Yeah, these are all great suggestions. And as Ken said, the more information, the better. And we'll look at expanding both the form and seeing if we can add a couple more key columns in the list of mentors before you click on an individual's name. In terms of today's recording, Wendy, how does that go out, or Kathy? Did somebody just reach out to the national office for a link to hear this?
I just responded to it. Our recordings are made available on the AIPG YouTube channel.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so as soon as it's up, I send out an email to let everybody know that it's available.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the list of questions. I think we've addressed most of these. As I said, we'll look at continuing to add more information, both to the table of a list of mentors and then to the mentor background information. So I don't see any new questions. So I think we'll just kind of end with a few announcements of activities that are coming up. I'll start with just mentioning that the AIPG Northeast section, so that'll include the Virginias, the capital area region, Pennsylvania, and the Northeast section, are looking to have a regional AIPG meeting a Thursday, Friday, middle of May of next year. And obviously there'll be a whole slew of emails that come out promoting that event. We're looking at hosting that in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, sort of centrally located to those sections. And we'll have an all-day field trip on Friday. The day before, on Thursday, the afternoon, will be a series of presentations, and then an outing for dinner, or options for dinner. And again, look for emails on that. Wendy, Kathy, other announcements?
No, I don't think so at this time.
So the lunch and earn is coming up. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It is. Let me bring that up here. It's November 1st, but I was going to bring up information on that. Oh, I'm clicking on your screen, Dave, Mark.
Okay.
It doesn't work when I'm on your screen. See the calendar, if you'll just click over on the calendar and scroll down to see it down on just on the main screen. If you scroll down, you're already there. See below latest news, calendar, do more.
Yeah.
And that'll just show what we got going on November 1st. There you go. Is the
That's
lunch
even
and
better
burn.
in terms of your interest level of what's going on with an AIPG. I just clicked on calendar, the little button more, and the whole list comes up.
Yeah.
Can't have an AIPG town hall or any other kind of meeting without mentioning that next September is the big 60th anniversary of AIPG. That the annual meeting will be in the Cincinnati area, and you know, I think there's already been a number of announcements related to that. The planning is underway. It's going to be huge. It's going to be way bigger and better than just a normal, obviously a big 60th anniversary event, a lot more field trips. So do what you can to set aside that weekend of Saturday, September 16th.
Yeah, Mark, if you want to go up to the lunch and earn on November 1st and click on it to get more information so people can see that.
So more mining focused, but an overview of the new SEC mining disclosure standard SK 1300. That'll be by Dr. Greg Gosen. And so there's details in here for that. And as you said, that's on November 1st.
Yes.
So again, last shout out for the mentoring program. Please spread the word and encourage anybody, all ages, you know, use the mentoring program. Just a great way to network with other geoscientists, other geologists within AIPG, whether you're a student, a current professional, or CPG member. You know, keep growing the network, keep making connections, and the mentoring program's here to help that.
All right, great. Well, we'll definitely look and appreciate everybody's suggestions and comments for, you know, improving and, you know, what we can do to connect and have more information available. So we really appreciate that as well. And we can look at what we can do with the system and how we can make some adjustments. And yeah, it's awesome.
So everyone have a great week. Thanks, Wendy. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you going over that.
Yeah, no problem. Reach out if you guys have any other questions, curiosities about the mentoring program. My email's listed there under the mentoring program. So don't hesitate.
All right.